Today, we will start a new tutorial about a very basic concept of node.js. We will try to check basic HTTP web request handling through vanilla.js. The last tutorial, we have shown the basic setup about node.js, including VS Code. The last tutorial link, video link, is added in the video's description. So those who haven't checked that video, I'm requesting you to check that video from the video link. Now, so let's start directory. So this is my directory. Here I will try to create a folder. Okay, so this is my folder web HTTP request. So I am entering to that folder. Now, using git bash, I am try to open VS Code. So let's start. Here I will give command code space dot, then hit enter. See, we have fully opened VS Code. Here you can see there is nothing in this folder. So I am pressing Ctrl J to open terminals. Okay, now I'm trying to create extension of .js file. That means a JavaScript file. So let's try to create a file using command from the terminal. See, we have successfully created a file using command from the terminal. So let's open the file. Okay, so today's topic basic HTTP request. So at first we need to require the HTTP module. So using require function, we can require the HTTP module. So we have to create the server using HTTP. We have required all sort of HTTP modules into this variable. So we will use this variable to create the server. There is a function named create server. So we will use that function to create the server settings. Let's check. We are declaring a variable named app to create a server. To create the server, there is a function named create server. So this is the very basic method to create the server. In this method, we have to declare some basic parameters. Request and response are those basic parameters, and we will use the flat arrow function for responsive activities of this method. Whenever this method is triggered, those other activities will be also triggered simultaneously. Okay, so using that variable, there is a method called listen. So using this listen method, we can bind the server's port and the host address. So listen method is used to bind the connections establishment. Okay, so using that variable, there is a method called listen of the application server. Let's check. So I am giving the port address 5000. So this is the flat arrow function that will be also triggered whenever the listen function is successfully binded with the defined parameters. So I haven't given any statement here or any code. Whatever I will write here, that will be executed with the binding operations of listen method. So try to mention some codes so that we can understand that application server is working fine or not. So let's try. Now this is the time to check that if the code is compiling successfully or not. So we have to compile it from terminals. So compiling command is node index.js. See, application is running smoothly. That means our server binding method listen has successfully executed, and application server is running. So let's try to check with the HTTP request. Since I have defined that the port address is 5000, so I am trying with 5000. Request is not responding here since we haven't given any response or any action for this request. So we will try to check if our request is arriving to our server or not. We have defined two parameters, request and response. So using request parameters, we can check if any request is arriving or not. So since we have changed our code, we have modified our code, we need to rerun this code. We have pressed Ctrl C, and for running this code again, we will give command node index. Yes. Again, there is there are another mode for executing this code. Whenever we will try to change any sort of code in our script, that will automatically take save and it will execute. That command is nodemon and the file name. So we are going to execute this command. Yes, the server is running successfully. So now we will try to give a request from the server, and we will try to check if the request is arriving in our server or not. So from the very beginning, we can see a hell lot of parameters is showing here, and after that the request parameter, we have decoded the request parameter in console log, and all sort of entities are binded in request parameter. So it is very hectic to sort out any entities from these parameters. We will try to specify the request and request URL and request mode from this request parameter. So let's check. So we have tried one again and given the request in our server. See, we have found two things: the request URL and then after request method. Okay, we will give some space here. See, this is the request URL and this is the request method that we have defined here. So it is proof that the from the website we are getting the request through HTTP module of node.js. But thing is that we are not getting any response for this request. So we will try to find out if any request is arriving in the application server. So if it is possible to receive any response or not. So let's check. So we are removing those request URL and method. So now we will try to figure out the response. So res.write, we are going to give an hi as a response. So we have written hi in the write method of response parameter. And if we use write method, then after we have to use the end method to finish the response after write method. So let's have a try if it is working fine or not. Since we have executed the file index.js file in nodemon through nodemon command, that's why it is in watch mode. That means in each and every selection of the cursor or any modification of this script, it is taking save and executed automatically. So no need to re-execute of this code. So directly we will go to the browser and we'll give an request. So let's check. See, we have a response hi from the server. Thereafter we have written here. That means for each and every request we are getting response from the server, and we have successfully binded the port and the host. So that's all from this basic tutorial of HTTP request module. So hopefully we have understand the basic part of HTTP module, and I hope previous part how to configure and how to set up the basic necessary software. So if you have any doubt or query, so I will suggest to check the previous. You have understand video link we have already given in this video's description. Again, if you have any suggestion or if you have any query, just comment to this video's comment box so that we can give you that suggestion, or if you have faced any problems, that will help you, and I will try to make the others videos if you have faced any problems. So thanks for today. We have